Welcome, 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 my lovelies. As always, hope you are all well. Cheers, by the way. I've got my little ginger cat mug today. I do love that. A lovely, lovely gift, of course. Wonderful. John Boy
I
isn't.
am here, yes.
I was going to say John Boy isn't in the video today, but he is now.
Hello.
He was just sitting having a coffee, weren't you?
Drinking a coffee.
A coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's Georgie. Hello. Oh, hello. He's climbing around looking. Oh, meow, 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 meow. Look at your little white tummy. Little white tummy. Oh, you're going in the castle. I'm like sitting there. Yes, folks. So, oh, out again. So, hello, welcome, as always. So today I am going to. This is the beginning of. There'll be a series of videos. I don't know how many there will be, but I am starting on what's under the sheet here. So I shall introduce it ASAP. So anyway, I think what we'll do is I'll just show you the house. It's a commission that I've got from a lovely lady. We've met her and a friend, and they're both very, very nice ladies. Looking forward to seeing them again as the journey goes on. So I'll show you the house, and then I'll show you what I'm going to start with. Okay, here we have the other side of the workshop. Well, it's not very big, so I didn't have far to go. But here we have John Boy with his coffee.
Hello.
And here we have is it Georgie?
Georgie. He's in the bag.
In a big plastic bag. And yes, we know everybody that would be a very dangerous thing to do normally. But we are supervising.
Yes.
And it's a big bag, and he's climbed into it, and he's just curls up sometimes in it just to go to sleep.
He likes bags, and he has got little holes in it, so...
Yeah, the bag's got holes in, and... don't you, eh? Look, he likes the bag.
He does like a bag.
Yeah.
Are you?
Anyway, so let's take the... Do you want to help me take the sheet off, John Boy?
No.
Just get one side of it and pull it over carefully. And here we have... Ta-da!
My house.
My next commission. It's the Victoria House. So it's it's an old Anglesey doll's house. It's Victoria House, and it was made by Anglesey houses who aren't around anymore. So as you can probably tell or probably see, it's when they were made with plywood. So it's very heavy. There we have some bits and pieces. Let's open it up, and it's got nice fixtures there on the door to hold it. Yeah. So we're going to leave the rooms as they are, the size of them. We're not moving them at the moment, but I will be putting little bits in here and there as I go along. But at the moment, I'm actually going to start on the outside. And if I bring the roof down, I'm going to start with the roof area. So here we have Georgie showing you what we have here. So these boxes, this box, this one, this big long one, and a green one under there, these are all, and the stuff on top, is all parts, bits and pieces. Oh, there we are. You want to say something? These are all bits and pieces to go with the house. What is going to make it a lot heavier, and I can't pick this up with one hand. No, actually I can't. It's very, very heavy. I shall open it and show you. But that is what I'm going to cover the roof in. Bags and bags of real slate tiles. I cannot wait. But this whole box is a very, very heavy box. You won't be able to pick it up, Georgie, believe me. And no, they can't be eaten. But I'm going to use these slate tiles and gradually cover this roof. And round the back of the roof as well, both sides. So this job alone is going to take quite a long time. Probably over a few days. So although you won't have to wait that long on the video. The world of the art of editing is a good thing. So anyway, let's get started. Okay, these are, as I said, these are real slate tiles. They are absolutely beautiful. The natural markings on them. Look at that. Absolutely wonderful. Sorry, it's not as usual. I'm doing the rubbish focusing. There we are. Do the YouTube thing. So, what you do first of all, or what I'm doing first of all, and it seems to work fine. I've got a thin square piece of wood, a few of these, and they're only 2 mils thick, so it's just 2 by 2 mils. And what I'm going to do, I'll show you once I've done it, before we carry on and cover it up. I'm going to lay this along the front edge of the roof and along the back edge as well, but I'll start with the front. I can't wait to see what it looks like with the windows in. So I run this along the front edge. I'm going to glue it down, let that dry. And the reason we do that is because when you lay the tiles on, say this is the bottom tile along the edge of the roof, and then you're going to put the overlapped ones on the top. The bottom tile, if it's lying flat on the roof itself, when you put the next tile on, and it's on a slope, obviously the back of that tile is going to be away from the slope of the roof, so you want this tile to tilt down. If you do that, then it makes this a gap here. So what you do is raise the first tile up all along the front edge, and then when you've laid that up at an angle and the roof comes up, the whole thing lies flat. The roof just comes up underneath that, and this will lay flat on the roof. So it just tilts them up slightly. I'll show you as we go on, and also to measure how far you want to overlap the tiles. I wouldn't be too skimpy with it and leave big gaps, because it doesn't look natural. So the sort of best rule of thumb is to let the next row start just over half the distance of the tile. So it depends on the length of your tile. So the length of this tile, these are all 4 centimeters, or we'll say 40 millimeters in length. So half of that is 20, and just slightly less is 18. So if I put this first row on, and then from the edge of that tile along the roof there, I'll measure up 18 millimeters, and I'll draw a line right along there. And then the next tile that I lay down is going to be that 18 millimeters extra, and it's just going to overlap just nicely, just as it should do. So I'm just telling you all this quick before I actually show you any of it stuck down. So we'll get that started, and then when you do the first row, I'm going to start with whole tiles right along as much as I can. Hopefully the distance is okay. If it's not, I will cut to size. And then the next row that you start with a half tile, so you end up overlapping them basically, because they wouldn't all be in a straight line, like a normal roof really. So let's get that started, and I'll show you where we are with that. So what I did first before we start laying the tiles is I took the dormer windows off completely. They're glued back on now, but I took those off. I pulled all these pieces apart very carefully, so it all came back into pieces as a kit, and then I put brickwork on each side of the walls there. I painted the insides of the dormers. I've painted all the window frame and the windowsill white, and painted the front white as well. Obviously the roof bit there will have tiles on it, so that will be done fixed to the roof, and that's why I've glued it back on now. So I've done both of those, and I've also turned the roof over, and I've painted the inside white as well. So everything else that needs doing apart from the tiles has been done to this part of the roof. And I have, as you can see, I've taken it off the building. It's just going to be so much more relaxing just sitting here at the bench and just gluing one on at a time. As I say, it's going to take a very long time, but I know, because I've done wooden ones before, that it's extremely therapeutic just to sit and just be calm. I'll put some music on quietly in the background in between shots or filming, and just sit and pass the time and enjoy it. Like I always say, this year I'm thinking everything is glass half full rather than looking for the bad points and saying glass is half empty. So yay! Okay, so all I've done here is draw the line. As you saw, I've put a small run of glue. I'm using PVA glue in case anyone wonders what you use to glue them down with. It's a perfect glue for gluing slate rows. Once that's dry, it will hold really well. And as you can see, because the tiles slope from the piece of wood that's raised up there, there's no contact in between there and there. So there's no point in putting loads of glue in there. It's not going to do anything. So I just run a good line along there, a good line along here, and then just place each one next to each other. And I shouldn't really do this trying to look through the camera. That's a really bad idea. But so there we are. So, and I just make sure I'm running that line perfectly as near as possible all the way along the edge, top and bottom. And as you can see, I've already put in one that's got a tiny chip out of it. Some of the slate tiles I'm going to purposely break, so there'll be like loose corners and things just here and there. I won't go mad with it. We want it looking nice, but it does, if you just add a tiny bit of breakage here and there, it looks like most real houses, with little cracks here and there. So anyway, I'll carry on running the glue along. When I get to the second row and come along here, when you get to the window, obviously you just cut where the tile would come down to, and where the gap, where the window is there. I just measure from underneath there to where I want the tile to come to keep it all in line, and cut it, and then it fits under the window. So it's just gradually fitting it on as we go. Okay, so that's the first row put on. At the end here, I just had to cut a tiny piece off of the edge there, so it's not really much narrower, so that's absolutely fine. It won't mess things up. And what I did with that was just to score down the length of the tile, just with the craft knife and a ruler, and just get a really nice ridge along there, and then hold the tile and get a pair of flat nosed pliers and just bend it at the edges, and it just crumbles off. And then just the very fine edge that's left, just rub that on the table on a piece of sandpaper, and you get a nice smooth edge there. So they're not hard to cut at all. So that's going to be great fun. I shall carry on, and at some point I shall video where I'm up to. Just before I carry on with the rest of the rows, just to let you see that I've put all the markings, all the pencil markings, straight, just done that all in one go. So now I can just start putting tiles on row after row without. Right, so as you can see, I'm getting there. I have found out through starting this that you can use a mini saw to cut the tiles. You can use pliers to nibble the edges. You can use a ruler and a scalpel. It's all sorts of things you can cut these with. They're not definitely not as intimidating as they look when they're just in the pack. So I've done all this roof so far. Those are the only leftover pieces I have so far, as I have been using the little bits to do all around the edge of the roofs and under the windowsills and what have you. So there's very little waste. By the end of it, I probably won't really have any waste at all. So anyway, so there you can see I'm almost up to the roof, that side. So I'm just going to do up this side here, and then we'll do along the top edge, and then we'll carry on. I've done just the odd, sort of broken a tile here and there, and then just re-glued it. So it just looks like tiles are broken and come away. There was a lot of tiles that were actually in the bag when you take them out of the bag. They're already worn away or chipped, quite a lot of them actually. So I've just used them as is and haven't really broken too many myself. So you can see that looks really good there, where it was already worn away. and you can see it sort of the edge there, nice and smooth. So anyway, there we are. So I'll carry on and get this side of the roof done. Ooh, a nice new cup of tea. Very nice. I'm just stopping for a very quick tea. Well, I'm not stopping for a tea break. I carry on working, and the tea normally ends up lukewarm to cold. But I just thought I'd stop for a minute, just to say excitement. Yesterday, I sold another one of my vases from Etsy to a lady called Julia from Canada. I can't remember if Julia watches my YouTube videos, but just in case, I just want to say hello, Julia, and I hope you love your vase when you receive it. You won't have received it yet because it was just yesterday, and it will take a while to get to Canada. And also Lucy from London as well has just bought my French farmhouse table that I had made, that I did actually do on a video as well, showing how I'd made it. But I just got that picture from the internet and drew out the design and size myself. So it's just a single piece that I made up myself. So thank you to Lucy. If you watch, I don't actually know, I haven't spoken to you yet through Etsy, so I don't know if you watch the videos. So I could be talking to someone that's not even here. If you are, hello Lucy, and thank you so much for buying a piece of furniture. And I hope you love it as well, as much as I love making it. So yes, also another lady messaged me on Etsy to ask about my pricing for shipping, because on some of the items it says free shipping, and some of the items it said $90 something for shipping. I didn't set that up like that in the beginning. I have no idea, and I'm sure it's maybe something Etsy had done itself for some reason. I have no idea how that came up at all, but just to reassure anyone that may have looked and then decided not to buy anything because they saw this ridiculous shipping cost, if you want, you can go on again and have a look. I've gone through every single one of my items and wherever it was marked wrongly, I've changed all the shipping to free. So the price of the vase that I sell for are normally meant to be that actual price, but on Etsy I then am paying for the shipping across anywhere around the world, and the Etsy fees, so I don't really make much on them at all, but they are really good fun to make, so I really enjoy making them. And if anyone's watching this now, please have a look in my Etsy shop. I'll put it in the description box below. Not on the TV if you're watching on the television, but on your tablet or computer or phones, or the computer, where it's got the description underneath. Some people are not sure where to look, but where it has a description and it says more, if you click on that, you can then see what I've written in the description box below. I always write something about the video. And there's Nige behind us, just come in, come out of the wind. It's quite windy today. So yes, if you want to have another look, if you haven't looked already, have a look and see if there's anything you like. Everything is a one-off. I don't make any copies of anything. They're all unique pieces. Anyway, I'm going to have a drop more tea and then carry on and get this roof finished. Yay! Now, when you're cutting the tiles, bits off them, different angles, whatever, it does, I'll just show you, it does produce a lot of slate dust. When you're cutting, it doesn't actually fly up in the air. I've been watching it very carefully, but if you brush that now with a dustpan and brush, clouds of dust actually do come up into the air. So personally, I would advise wearing a mask each time you clean up. You could even wear a mask when you're actually cutting them, but as I said, you can't see any dust flying up when you do that. But it's safe to use a mask anyway. But these are what I'm using for nibbling, scraping, cutting, scoring, and then if you want, you can sand the edges as well, just to make an extra special job, which obviously I am doing. It's very time consuming and most definitely a labour of love. in the time aspect, but well worth it, I'm hoping, when we see the end result. And of course, if you don't want to brush the dust up and put it in a bin or take it outside into the garden and set the dust free, then of course you can vacuum it up. And we've just got an old, I think it's an old Bosch vacuum cleaner, and that's excellent. It just gets rid of everything. Now the ridge tiles that run, the ridge tiles are the tiles that run along the top of the apex of the roof, where all the flat tiles come up to the top, and it covers up the line along the top and makes them waterproof. And ridge tiles, normally they're made of concrete or a clay. Generally, that's the most common ones. So I didn't want to. I was going to paint these sort of slate grey colour just to blend in with the roof and disappear. As you can see, I'm not. I want to make a little bit more feature the roof, the outside of the house in total. So I want a lot of different things to look at that are really nice and all go together. So to get a terracotta colour, and by the way, if you put terracotta on Google, on images, you will not find one shade of terracotta. You will probably find 7, 8, 9 different shades. There are several different shades of terracotta. So not you can't go wrong basically as long as you're in that range. So what I've done to make up a terracotta colour, because I don't already have one, I have terracotta hands at the moment. I'm like the terracotta army, but just on my own. So to make that colour, first of all, I've got a cadmium yellow, whoops, and a cadmium red, and an ultramarine blue. So I've chosen those 3 colours. The cadmiums are really good for mixing colours, I find. So all I've done is mix the yellow and the red together, and I'll just show you a little dish here that I was working with. So I just put a blob of red, a blob of yellow, started blending the 2 in as much as I wanted. I ended up making more yellow than red, so not as much red as the yellow. But it just gave me a really bright, a nice orange colour, a nice bright orange. And then I added the ultramarine blue. And the ultramarine blue, I'll let you see, I actually put it on with the end of a cocktail stick. So just dipping it into the blue and then touching the red and the orange together, and then brushing that in. So as you can see, I didn't even use all that was on the end of the cocktail stick. So it doesn't need much blue at all. Lots of yellow, not quite as much red, and a tiny dash of blue. So I've gone all over these, painted them all. I'd sort of dry brushed them on really, so that they didn't all get thick and gloopy in the gaps there. So spent a while just dry brushing them, let that dry. Then I went over it again with a second coat, and I got to this colour. They're fine, they look absolutely fine the way they are, but just to add a tiny bit more detail to them, if anyone was to actually look at them close up, I just scraped a bit of blue on the edge of the plastic lid there and just touched it into the colour that I had left and mixed it, and it's gone a slightly darker, it's gone a darker shade of terracotta. And all I'm doing then, if I bring up this big bit here, all I'm doing then is I'm just using the brush and just dabbing it onto here and there onto the bricks like so, and then just working it in with my fingers in the ridges, leave bits showing, cover bits up, and just go along like that. I won't do it all on camera because I'll spend a while doing that, but some bits I'll leave darker than others and lighter bits. You can't see that properly because it's wet, but I will put the hairdryer on them just to finish them off and just dry them up. But then they're just slightly weathered and shaded terracotta tiles. So I shall just carry on dabbing bits of roof tile, ridge tile here and there, just at random, because weathered bricks do weather randomly. And then white bits. If you actually did a bit and you really didn't like it, then just blob over it with a slightly lighter colour. There we are. So I'll just work backwards and forwards on all these pieces and blow dry them off, and then get them stuck to the roof, and then let's see what that looks like before we go on to the next stage. Right, now after I've gone over it with the 3 different shades, rubbing it in with my fingers at the end, just to give it more sort of mucky aged look. I've also noticed on the ridge tiles and sometimes on the roof tiles, you'll see sort of white markings, and for that, sort of grey white markings, for that I'm using a chalk. I just use a box of different shades of black and white there for different things, and then a really cheap old brush that's really battered. I use it as a sort of dabbing brush, so the bristles are really worn out. Not worn out, but just smashed up a bit. And then I'm just, sorry you can't see, but I'm just dipping that in the paper like a blusher, I suppose, and then just dabbing that on, rubbing it in with my fingers, just here and there. Not in a uniform pattern, because aged tiles wouldn't look uniform, but just here and there. And if you rub it in, then it stays in, it just sets in to the wood. Like so. And I've done the other bits, so I shall put these, I'll place these on the roof. I'm not quite finished, but I'll place them on the roof just to see how it looks and to show you guys where we are so far with it. Okay guys, I think that looks like terracotta ridge tiles. They're not in, I haven't glued them in place, so I shall do that a bit later. But I think that looks quite good. They're a bit old looking, a bit worn looking, and serve the purpose. I think that's looking quite good. Instead of a solid colour, it just gives life to the old roof. But I haven't finished yet. No, still more than cosmetic stuff to do here. So let's move on to the next section of the roof. Now, quick tea break. Lovely, fresh cup. So, excuse me. It's a very cold, windy day outside, very cloudy. It has been raining, but it's dried up a bit now, but it still looks like it's going to absolutely pour down out there. The clouds are completely grey. This is what happens. This is my journey. This is how things happen with my own houses, for sure. When I'm working on them, it's the whole thing from A to Z is not planned. So you've got a general idea of what you're doing and you build it up. But as you're doing that and you're going along the journey, you'll know yourselves that do houses. You'll see things, and then that will make you think of other things, and the journey sort of builds up and builds up. So it's like a piece of artwork really that you're creating, and hopefully at the end of it, it's yours. It's an original creation. And that's one of the things I absolutely love about doing dolls houses or doll houses. So why am I holding this? So when I do commissions for people, we sit and we work out what we want in every aspect from beginning to end. It's all written down. I then work everything out. I then give them a quote of what it's going to come to, and if it's too much, if they don't like the price, if it's too much, then I can start taking off things. Really, so far, 10 times out of 10, people haven't been happy to do that, because once they know what they could have, then they would rather get the best they can, which is very understandable. It's a house you're going to have, hopefully, for most of your life, or even to hand down to children or grandchildren. So as I was going along on this journey, we had the client and me had come to an agreement of price. So that's all written in stone. So as I'm going along doing this roof, and I'm using real slate tiles to cover the roof, not just a paper. So it's a lot dearer to do it this way. But as I'm doing this and going along the journey, I thought to myself, oh, wouldn't it be absolutely fantastic if I bought sheets of lead. So this is real lead, and it's very malleable. It bends really easily. It has got some strips there that you can peel off and just stick on. But I bought it at this exact size because I want to cut it myself into narrower strips. And let me just grab something quick. Okay, taking too long. I couldn't find what I was looking for, but it's not. It wasn't too important. We can do this later. So yes, so this is going to be lead flashing all along the where the dormer windows come out along and meet the roof itself. I'm going to put them down there. Maybe bits underneath here coming down each side. But I've bought quite a few of these. It's not cheap. I thought I knew it wasn't, but I hadn't actually bought it before. But it's quite expensive. Little pieces of lead when you think that's all they are. So no, it wasn't in the budget. But also it's a secret. So the lady or the client that owns this house, she doesn't actually know that she's going to get this put on her roof. So it's a big secret now. Mind you, I don't know why I'm whispering, because she watches my videos. Saying nothing. No. Yes. So if you are watching, I'm going to put real lead flashing on your roof to finish off the tiles, because I think they deserve it. And sometimes I just do these mad things, or I like to add a little bit of this and that or whatever. But because they were real slate tiles, you can use bits of foil or bits of card and paint them silver. You can do all that sort of thing, and they look fine. They look fine. But because they're real slate tiles, I wanted real lead, and I'm doing lots of stroking. And I must tell you already, I don't know if you can see it, but the ends of my fingers are starting to go a grey colour. I'm going to go in and wash my hands. Lead is very bad for you if you leave it on you, and definitely do not lick pieces of lead. I can't say I've tried it through experience, because I know I haven't. But no, and also you'll find, just so you can see it now, the lead is in its raw state is very shiny and very silver. Even after a week of this sitting here, now it's got the open air and the oxygen coming to it, it will start discolouring, and it will start going down more into the real lead colour that we see on roofs. It will be a bit more muted, and it will just age with age, basically. So I'm going to be cutting this. I'll just cut it into strips. I'll just carefully do it quietly on my own, and I'll fit it under these bits and coming down from the roof, down the sides there, and just cover those up. Just on as on real houses, that is put on to stop the rain going into the joins where all the slates meet each other. So that's what I thought this house deserves, and so I've decided to splash out on top and do something really special for my client. She's a lovely lady, and she deserves a lovely house. So I'm going to stop talking. Oh, in fact, I'm going to go and wash my hands, finish my tea. But I'll wrap my hands around the mug because it's nice and warm. And then I shall come and cut these. I might actually, because I'll be using, fiddling around with them a lot, I've just got disposable plastic gloves, just little see-through glove things. I'll wash my hands, I'll put those on, and then I can just mess about with it and not worry about touching it. Okay, so I will actually just put all this on. It's really just putting it, shaping it, pushing it in, and putting a little bit of PVA underneath just to hold it. And I'll just show, it's easy to do, so I'll just do it and I'll show you how the roof is at that stage. Okay there, so I've measured the length that I needed, cut the piece, the length that I wanted and the width that I wanted, so it was a decent amount on each side. And then I just peeled off the adhesive strip and stuck it down. It sticks quite firm with that. I've also trimmed the top two corners so that it disappears up into the ridge tiles when it's finished, and it just makes it nice and neat. And as you can see, it's very soft metal, so it will push with your fingers and fingernail. It will just push into the shape of the roof tiles as it comes down, so it makes a nice seal there. So there'll be no damp getting in, not in this house, not on my shift. So then we will bring this over, and then the other piece comes out here. In fact, let me put this in quick just to give you an idea. I have to glue it down in place, but it will just join up nicely once it's all put on. And I'm just going to carry on now and just put all the rest on. Right, I've ended up not using PVA to glue these down, but when you cut the strips to the width that you want, if the double-sided sellotape isn't right in the centre or where you would want it, then just use your own. So there's double-sided tape down the side there that I've peeled off, but I've also stuck a strip of my own there, so when I can peel that off and then stick it onto the roof, and it will stay just as it should. Right, okay, now I'm adding the LED flashing down the sides of the roofs. Underneath here, you could just do the same thing and just put a straight strip all the way down. It's just to give the impression of LED flashing. So it's not imperative that you do it differently, but sorry, I'm trying to hold the camera with one hand and doing this with my left hand. So what I've done, what I'm in the middle of doing under here, is to first measure the distance that I need the length of lead to be, and then cut it, and then fold the edge that I want to go onto the brick side. I've looked at real photos and the photos of real houses, and the where the bend is, the crease, it's not even. So there's a wider bit on the roof tiles and a narrower bit on the bricks. So I just wanted to copy that. So if I can just push that up to try and get that to meet in there. Oops. So that's the shape first of all, and it's going to fit in. It does go up a bit higher and it does fit in. And then what I've done is where the brick line is just mark with a scalpel the line of each brick, and then I'm going to cut into that and then see if I can get a jagged shape. Okay, there's the shapes cut, so they go in line with the bricks, and then I've just laid it on the edge of the bench, so I've kept the shape in it, and then I've laid double-sided tape on the back there. So I'll peel that off and then we'll stick that on and see what it looks like. There we are, that looks quite neat. Because normally on each step there where the brick line is, the lead flashing would go in between the grouting of the brick, so it would go actually into the wall there all the way up. That's how it's done in real life. And obviously you can't do this with a paper brick on wood, but it just gives the impression of how it's done. And then I'd also put a strip along, the narrow strip along underneath the windowsill as well. So I'll continue and get the other one done and we'll get those finished. Okay, so that's the lead flashing finished all around the windows there, and I've put the terracotta brick tiles, or the faux terracotta brick tiles, on the apex. I've just used masking tape to tape it all down. It was all broken in pieces, so I've just put it back as it was. And as you see, coloured. John Boy came in earlier and he really liked the terracotta, what I'd done to change the wood. So I had one fan there. So I'll let that dry on the top and then take the masking tape off. But that is not the roof finished. We've got another stage to go. Oh yes, we have. Yeah, so I'll while that's drying, while the tape is holding there, I'll carry on with the next stage and I'll show you as I'm doing it, just to give it yet another layer. Okay, so I forgot to film me putting this on, but it was very simple. I'm just using the Countryside Scenics moss. It's just a powder that looks like moss, and then I'm mixing that with a little bit of PVA and a little bit of water just to thin it down slightly, and just mix that up in a little dish and then paint it on with a brush. So I shall come up here and show you that I've now added some age to the house. So it's just got little growths of moss growing here and there, just catching the light as we go around. So it just makes the house look a little bit older. I mean, this is meant to be a Victorian house, so it's been here a long time, but there's a modern family living in it. But the roof would have a bit of repair needs, you know, broken tiles and things, and there would be some moss growing here and there. So I've done it along sort of edges where it would normally grow. Now the only thing to do now is to decorate the chimney pots at each end and then put those on. So I'll get those done. I actually will show you what I'm doing with those before I put them on. Okay, with the chimney breasts, I've sprayed the top plinth with show you here, Rust-Oleum Concrete Effect paint. Sort of gives that sort of look on the top of the can there. So I've given it one coat and let that dry. I actually put the hairdryer on it to make it start bubbling up a bit, just to start making it a bit rougher. I'm now going to, as you can see, I'm going to brush on all over, except I'm doing this with my right hand, and I'm left-handed. So I will continue off camera and paint this all round, this PVA, and then I'm just going to dip it over there in the sand and just get some sand on it first of all, on top of that coat, and I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to spray it again with the Concrete Effect spray. Okay, so excuse me, so I've sprayed the top with concrete spray, I've put PVA on, I've sprinkled sand all over, I've let it dry, and then I've sprayed it again with the concrete spray, so it just gives it a sort of concretey effect. Okay, next I'm going to apply the chimney breast bricks, and all I've done is cut to size to fit on the chimney breast, and then put PVA glue on the paper and get it exactly in alignment. I've pre-folded the edges so it will go around nice and snug, and just flatten it as you go. There we are. Yeah. There we are, and I've done it. I'll do them both the same. I've cut it so it's slightly too long, so it just comes to the edge. Once that's dry, I'll just score it with a I was going to say score it with a palette knife. I don't know. Who knows? Score it with a scalpel. I was going to say. Right, I'll let that dry. Make sure it's nice and firm all over. Let that dry. I can cut the shape out and everything after it's dry. First of all, I'll let that dry first, and then I can stick I have the chimney pots here, the little terracotta coloured ones, a different shade of terracotta. As I said, you can get several different shades, and I'm going to put 3 on each because it just looks nice. It doesn't look enough with 2, so I'll put 3 on each. There's not going to be fireplaces in all the rooms, but the house, when it was first built, would have had fires in each room, but now the modern family live there. It's been renovated a bit inside, so but we still have the look on the roof of the chimney pots. So I'll let that dry. I'll trim it down, cut the whole thing. I'll glue the pots on, and then after that, because I don't want it too clean and new looking, I'm just going to go over it and age it slightly with a little bit of soot here and there. I'll just use a black pastel crayon, just a filing of it, just a powder, and I'll just smudge it on here and there, and a bit on the little bits of brickwork here and there, just to make it look a little bit lived in. And then we'll glue the chimneys onto the roof, and then I'll show you the finished roof. We're nearly there. Yay! Right, let's let that dry, and then get it finished. Yay! Okay, and here we have the finished roof. Well, the front of the roof finished. That dark line under there is the shadow from the light above. The daylight bulb from above, and that's the ledge underneath, so it's producing a shadow there, so it's not that dark really, but if I come round here, oops, let me move my heater, and you can see how it's looking. Really, 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 really pleased with it. Okay guys, as always, thank you so much for watching the video and tuning in today or this evening, depending on where you are in the world. And I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank the newcomers as well, all you newbies. I noticed my subscriptions on YouTube seem to be going up a little quicker than they were in the beginning. So all you new people that have just joined, I hope you stay with us, and I hope you enjoy watching the videos. So welcome everybody, and also welcome to, or not welcome, but hello to Denise, one of our miniature family members. Hi there, Denise. I'm sure you'll be watching, and also I'm sure your little doggy Peggy will be watching. You sent me an email with a little clip of you filming me on television with Peggy watching, and it was absolute. She just melted my heart, I have to say. I just wanted to pick her up and cuddle her. So I shall put the little clip, part of it, on the end of this video, so everyone can see the beautiful Peggy watching me on TV. So, and it did make me wonder, around the world, all of you that are watching, do any of you have any pets that also watch me? Or even just watch TV and enjoy watching television? That'd be lovely to hear. As you know, George and Nigel, they both watch TV when we're sitting watching TV in the evenings. They're avid watchers. They like all sorts of rubbish. But yeah, I just wondered how many other family pets are out there watching the television, or maybe watching me. Who knows? Who knows? Who cares? So anyway, thank you so much for that. My next video of this commission will be doing the front of the house on the outside, the doors, windows, the walls and everything else, so we can just get the outside looking really good. So I hope you're enjoying what you're watching so far, and looking forward to watching what I do with the rest of the house. I can't wait. I'm really excited. And also, if anyone else watching these videos is interested within the UK, is interested for me to do a commission for them, please do get in contact. I always put my email in the description box below. I say below because if you're watching it on a phone or tablet, not on the television, but if you're watching it on the phone or the tablet, in the description box below, if you click on it, it opens up everything I write about each video. I introduce each video, so you can read that, and it has a link usually to my Etsy shop if you want to look at my pieces that I make and sell on Etsy, and my email address if you want to write to me, all that sort of information. So yes, if you're interested in having a house done, then please do contact me, and we can chat about it. I'm beginning to get a big street going on behind me here. Quite a contrast, having the castle next to an Art Deco house, much like in real life really, but on a smaller scale. Okay folks, I'll leave you with the lovely Peggy watching television, and speak to you again ASAP. I'm missing you guys already. Okay, speak soon. Take care. Bye everyone. This is now, I think, I keep forgetting the numbers now. It will be correct on the video title, but I think this is Art Deco Dollhouse part 15. Who knows?